what we're gonna do is De La Riva guard. All right, this is very useful in MMA, especially the Diaz brothers make a really good use of it. You have to be careful though, because there are punches. Now, all right, here. Chad is standing over me, and I'm here. Now, I want to establish control, but the minute I establish control, I lose some protection of my head. So if I just do this, he's gonna punch me. That's not good. So I'm gonna establish 1 foot on his hip, 1 foot here, protecting my face. Immediately when I bring that around, I'm gonna stretch him around like that. Okay, you see how I did that? I brought it around and I stretched. Now try and punch me, Chad, even if you can turn. It's very hard. Now, I bring it back right here and I stand up, okay? One more time. Okay, so I'm here, protecting my face, hook, grab, protect your face, spin, stretch, he comes back. Here, push, pull, boom, tuck your foot, stand up. Immediately get ready to pass. Okay, we have one other option. You can come up for the single leg. In sports jiu-jitsu, a lot of people will come up like this. You will get crushed in MMA like this. Okay, we never come up like this in MMA. Okay, I'm gonna come up here behind him. Now sweep. De La Riva. Those are 2 sweeps from the De La Riva.
You're in the open guard, and I'm a big guy, I'm here.
Yep.
I'm not giving you anything. Obviously, if I'm pushing the issue, then you've got to respond to what I give to you. But if I'm not giving you any energy, and I'm just here, what's your default, your go-to initial attack that you're thinking about to get the action happening?
What I normally do is I'm going to go to like what we call a reverse De La Riva, but I don't do a lot of the fancy upside down and spinning, this kind of thing. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm basically going to shoot in here, and I want to pull you in, control the ankle.
You're just crossing your ankles behind
Yeah,
my
so
knee.
a normal De La Riva would be like this, okay? We're going to do reverse, so that the inside leg is going to come in as well. So I drop this down. I'll normally pull very quickly into a regular De La Riva, like boom, and then I'll switch. So my top leg is inside, just like that, and I keep my feet flexed. Now, I don't have a lot of sleeve grips. I know some people were talking about this as well. I can't grab the collar. So what I want to do is I'm going to pull my knees to my chest and then straighten my legs. Actually really powerful. So I'm going to pull my knees to my chest, and I'm going to start to lift this way. And I bring him right to me. So I bring him here. I'm going to control. So I can knock him down by putting my shin right into his knee. I'll knock him on his hands a lot of the time. Now, he doesn't always fall. So I'm going to keep this here, and I want to keep his ankle until, look, I readjust and put my foot in the crook of his knee. Now I can let go. I'm going to push him away and do a technical stand-up. So I push him away here. Now I'm just going to raise, pull my leg out, and be ready to finish. So that's kind of my go-to. If we show it one more time. If we were here, I may just pull right into a basic De La Riva, and then right away I'm going to switch. Because I don't have the controls of the sleeve, it's going to be a lot harder. And then I want to pull the guy to me, lift.
That lift is really disconcerting.
It's really strong. Let me back up and just show what I'm doing really quick. So what I want to do is I'm going to pull and straighten like that. And I'm just going to, all I'm trying to do is pull the guy's leg to me. So I get here, look, I need to pull and lift right there. Now I'm just gonna turn his knee out. There's no real bad pressure on his knee. He just has to go that way. So I'm gonna knock him on his hands, boom. Keep the ankle until the foot gets in the crook of the knee. And now I can let go. I'm going to push him away and do a technical stand-up. Here. This way. If I wasn't able to lift him, because I got his leg, but he was kind of just like he was posturing back. He was almost trying to, he wasn't running away, but he's not really engaging. I'm just going to kick it old school. So if I was here, and look, I wasn't able to pull him forward because he's kind of postured up, he's leaning backwards. What I want to do very quickly is look, 1, 2, and again, like I said, I'm going to kick it old school. I'm going to do like what I call a 3-point takedown or a tripod sweep. I can grab his wrist if I want, but I don't need to. I'm going to pull with my hand on his heel and my foot in his crook of his knee, and I'm going to push his hip this way. And again, I'm going to do a technical stand-up to finish. So whether I can lift him onto me or whether he's running away, that's kind of the first thing I think about when a guy's standing up and I'm on the ground.
So, I think pretty much all of you have trained with me before, I think. You have, okay. Well, I'm going to go quickly through my base posture structure speech. So, everything we do, or everything that I teach is based largely on 2 major concepts, which are base posture structure and frames and levers. So, base is a platform from which to apply and absorb force. Posture is correct spinal alignment, and structure is correct limb alignment. I'll go into greater detail on that kind of as necessary throughout the day. And then frames and levers are kind of the 2 main things that we're using our limbs and our opponent's limbs for. I can either frame for support against the ground or frame against my opponent. And a lever is just a force multiplier that allows me to control my opponent in ways that I can't directly. So everything we do is based on that. So we're going to work today on kind of some no-gi guard concepts that'll hopefully help even if you don't end up using like the De La Riva stuff that we do today. Hopefully the no-gi guard concepts will be kind of helpful. So let me start at which I mentioned is like standing. So generally in the gi, I can play the guard like a seated style of butterfly koala guard, or I can play from my back and have grips. When I play from my back in no-gi, especially this is, we're going to most of you work consider a standing opponent today, but because I can't make grips, I can't be offensive the way that I can be in the gi. In the gi, once I'm here and I've got my grips, I can break your structure with the sleeve grips, I can break your posture with my collar grips, whereas in no-gi, if I choose to just go on my back, I have 0 offensive options, realistic offensive options, because my ability to break your posture is pretty much non-existent. So we're going to kind of solve that problem a little bit with some of the De La Riva stuff we're going to be doing. But before we get to that, I just want to kind of go over, if I'm playing the guard in no-gi, the only time I want to be on my back is if I have a good ankle grip. Like, I don't want to be here like this very much because this is 100% defense on my part. There's no offense from here. I can have an effective guard, but it'll just be because I have good guard retention. I can't threaten you from this position. So in anything that we do throughout, like when we're sparring the position, when we're moving around today, the first thing we want to kind of have in mind is if I'm playing the guard in no-gi, I want to be here or here so that I can have mobility and the ability to be offensive. This is where offense is generally going to come from. Is I can break base with movements like this. I can break structure with arm drags. I can hand fight, all that kind of stuff. I can threaten my wrestling if I have it, that sort of thing. I'll get forced to my back occasionally, but if I do, I immediately want to hook up and start working the De La Riva guard rather than playing, kind of a passive open guard like this. So because of the whole base posture structure formula, if I'm here like this, I can't affect any one of those things unless I have connection to him. So the first movement we're going to do is just going to be kind of how to recover to here if anything's going wrong. So we'll just start, this is just going to be kind of a warm-up, like a guard retention movement thing. We'll start with the De La Riva guard, and so you just grab my ankle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the ankle grip, push down on the knee, and disengage from the De La Riva guard. This is where you're in the moment of greatest danger, because you have no grips on me, I can immediately start passing. So we're going to work backwards from kind of how the De La Riva guard is going to be shut down. So Rich is going to pull this grip off, push down on my knee, and step back. The second, he's going to start again. So the second I recognize that my grips are being broken, I'm going to sit up. just get my hand in front of me so that I can block the leading edge. In this case, it's his knee here. If he had that leg forward, it'd be his knee here. If he was down on his knees, it might be his shoulder. Whatever the closest part of his body is to you is what we're going to block. So again, here, he starts to strip my grips, but until I'm immediately sitting up and blocking. Just getting in the base, making sure my posture is good. So one of the common errors here is when people go to sit up, they go like this, and they get snapped into a guillotine. So we just want to make sure that we're coming up as he backs away. As I'm coming up with my head up, and I'm getting into good base. So can't have my elbow bent here. I don't want my legs stuck out too far because then you can grab the end of the lever, put me back down right away and start passing. So I want to come into base like this. My left foot, or if I'm going on my right side, I do my right foot. Just tuck it close to my butt. My hand is behind me. We're just getting into the position where we'll be able to do a technical stand-up or continue to play our butterfly guard from here. Everybody got that? Pretty simple, right? Just going to strip the grips. Partner's going to back away. You're going to follow him up into this position. And we're just going to use that to warm up for a few minutes. In the concept of what I call blocking the leading edge, which is kind of the most critical guard retention concept, I think there are a lot of different movements that you can use to retain your guard. Like I kind of did a workshop here a little while ago on just like guard, kind of not guard retention, but just guard concepts. And I divided the guard into 3 phases. So there's like the engagement phase where you haven't made contact yet and you might try to go for like a quick guard pass if you're on top. And then there's the guard sort of maintenance phase, and which is when you can attempt to imbalance the guy and potentially attack him. And then there's the guard retention phase, which is when somebody has entirely controlled your legs and they're into a guard passing sequence and all you're doing is trying to retain the guard. So with guard retention, there are several movements that you can employ, but the concept is always the same, which is you block the leading edge of the body and then you reorient your hip angle. So for example, if Richie is standing up, if I'm in a seated guard position, Jason Scully, who has a really good YouTube channel by the way, he uses the term headlights to describe the guard. So if I draw an imaginary line outside of my legs, these are the headlights. Once Richie's outside, so like right now he's in my headlights still, once he goes outside my headlights, it's 100% guard retention. I shouldn't be trying to attack at all, I'm just trying to retain my guard. So, for instance, if he starts to move around like to that side, this right now is the leading edge of his body. So I block it with my hand, I move my hips, and I recompose my guard. If I was on my back, and he did the same thing, moved outside, I might block the leading edge, move my hips this way, and recompose my guard. How you do it is less important than the fact that as soon as you're no longer in the maintenance phase, you recognize that and you move to guard retention right away. So again, as we're sort of moving throughout today, anytime you're sparring in a position or anything like that, just keep in mind that we always want to block the leading edge, get into base, and move our hips away, whether we're seated or if I'm on my back. I can do the same thing. I can block the leading edge. I can either turn and Granby like this, or I can block the leading edge and scoot my hips back. So that's the next movement we're going to do, is we're going to assume that we got to our Del Hiva guard, the grips got stripped, and he maybe leg dragged me. I block the lead, it doesn't matter what. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a good leg drag. You can just let your opponent throw your legs by. You can either grab me back and reestablish your Del Hiva guard. And here's an important distinction that we want to make. This is why we're going to do 2 movements. If I'm on my back and my legs get thrown by Granbying, I can immediately reestablish the Del Hiva guard. If I get my legs thrown away and I hip escape, I'm no longer able to re-engage the Del Hiva guard. So if your goal is to play Del Hiva guard when you're on your back and your guard is getting beat, then the turnaway Granby is going to be your main guard retention movement. Whereas if you want to get back to seated butterfly guard, then the hip escape is going to be your main guard retention movement. It's important to know which one is used for what, because it allows you to get to your goals quicker. So if you don't like the way your Del Hiva guard is going, you want to switch guards, you wouldn't necessarily want to do this, because you're not going to be able to go to a good no-gi guard right away, which generally in no-gi you want to play the guard much more seated than you do in the gi. So that's the motion we're going to do. However, he breaks all these. 1, reset, and then 2, reset, just so we know which one we're going to for which purpose. For the turnaway Granby, you're going to step on the mat, elevate your hip, make sure your butt is up in the air, and then swing your legs around. It's really important but you don't try to do this. Let's say you've leg dragged me and you're still holding my ankle, and I try to granby and push, like control my ankle right from the top. Yeah, and push my ankle here like this. Yeah, exactly. If I try to just push my leg, it's never going to work. So I have to mobilize my hip to create the movement, which is the same thing as I'm doing here. I'm mobilizing my hips in every instance with guard retention. I'm going from static hips, he pushes my leg by, I'm mobilizing my hips, and then getting back to Del Hiva guard, or he pushes my leg by, I'm mobilizing my hips, and getting back to the guard. So we'll just do those two movements. So we're going to start to get into like the generating offense from the Del Hiva guard here. Just before we do, I want to reiterate kind of the concept of the guard as a range management tool primarily before it's anything else, right? Like we like to use the guard in jiu-jitsu as a submission delivery device, which is cool, or a sweep delivery device, which is again really cool. But if I don't have the ability to manage the distance between myself and my opponent, then my sweeps and submissions, I'm always going to be attempting them while I'm in a position of vulnerability. That's why, you know, sort of the classic white belt and blue belt problem is shoot a triangle, get your guard pass. Shoot an armbar, get your guard pass. The reason that happens is you're not managing the distance, A, and B, you're not creating misalignment in your opponent. If you don't take away base, posture, or structure, preferably two of them, ideally all three of them, then you're attacking someone when they're not vulnerable, and that's why you're getting passed a lot of the time. So we want to recognize that when we're playing guard, if you think of the guard from like the range management perspective as a series of frames. If I don't have frames on you, then I don't have a guard. So I don't want to even think about attacking you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the alignment of the Del Hiva guard. This is not a good alignment for the Del Hiva guard. Those of you that are flexible enough to do this, good for you, but it's no way to play because I'm putting myself into a really weak position biomechanically. Right? This is the angle I want from the Del Hiva guard. I actually want to be pointed at you while you're pointed away from me. And I won't be able to hold that. But ideally, this is where I want to be when I'm launching my attacks. I'm in a dominant angle. And the same goes, for the closed guard, actually. A lot of attacks from here will fail because of our alignment. But if I can get here, I have proper alignment to attack. One, I've broken his structure. Two, I control his posture. Three, I have a dominant angle. So my strongest mechanisms, my leg press and my bench press, are pointed at him. His are pointed at the floor. You know, I'm going to succeed with my triangle here most of the time. If I go here, I'm going to fail with my triangle most of the time because his posture and his structure is available to him. So that same concept exists.
That's earlier concept about headlights.
Yeah.
That works for the person on top as well.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like my headlights need to be pointed at you.
Pointed at me, exactly. So your strongest mechanisms need to be pointed at the person while theirs are pointed away from you. Right? That's why, generally speaking, even in dominant positions, you're not necessarily able to attack somebody as well as you would like. Right? So we're going to start just from, so we're just going to start from, like we can even start from seated butterfly guard. I'm going to want to hand fight first, because if I just kind of try to grab at you, you can block me. So if I want to transition from here or here to the Del Hiva guard, I'm going to try to win the hand fight, get a 2-on-1 grip, or if I just momentarily control both hands, I'm going to scoot, engage my Del Hiva hook at an angle, place my foot on the knee, and immediately start to push him away. Because that's going to be our attack position. We don't attack if we don't have this. So if I'm just like kind of here, I'm never going to attack from the Del Hiva guard. It's not the right time. This is guard retention time actually for me. I want to make sure that I can first get to a dominant angle, and usually when we get here, he's going to be putting his hand on this leg, trying to keep it off. That's almost a given. If somebody allows me to stay here, I'm going to sweep them for sure. No good guy allows you to camp out in Del Hiva guard. So that's kind of what we want to address. Is I'm going to start here, hand fight, get myself to here. He immediately grabs my ankle, pushes it down. I grab his wrist, kick free, and reset. So that's our motion to get to offense. This is a prerequisite for offense. Without this, we don't attack. So once again, I either start here, or I'll win a hand fight. Maybe I get to a 2-on-1, pull Del Hiva guard, nice and shallow with the foot. I don't want my foot not attached. I'm hooking and I'm closing my knee. See how that starts to bend your knee? If I just hang out with my knee open, drive your knee this way, it's gonna start to shear my della diva hook off. So I'm kind of pushing in and down a little bit.
You're leg pressing.
A little bit, yeah. Just closing my, I want to say adductors,
It is that.
and then pushing forward.
And
here.
what are you doing with your shoelaces here?
Just making sure that I can retain the hook. So I'm creating
I feel
tension.
largely it's your shin driving into
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hooking, creating tension this way,
Yes.
backwards with my toes, and tension this way with my shin.
It's really unique.
Right.
I've never felt that before.
So here, and then immediately as I'm doing that, I expect you to push my foot down. I don't try to fight you to keep the grip. Don't let me do this. I'm not able to strip that grip right now. I'm too extended. So I'm going to bring my knee to meet. See, that extends his structure. I grab his wrist, and all I'm doing is holding it. I'm not trying to pull it off. I'm kicking my leg away
Very smart.
and placing my foot here. So again, he can go back, and you can play with this. You can hang out here. This is not going to do it. I pull it to here. That does it. So just play around with that. Make sure you have good angles first for your attack, and then we'll get to the sweeps. So in here, I pull my knee to me, extend the leg away, and then I can start to push, and you can just kind of reset.
Can I see the entry from
Yeah. So from seated, I'm playing. As soon as I get a grip, I'm good to go. I just want to make sure that you can't stuff this, because I'm going to scoop my hips and insert my hook. So for example, if I won the hand fight on this side,
It won't
I
work.
won't go here because I'm not able to bolt.
Because I have access to my
Right.
right hand. and
So
that's
I
what
want to
you need.
get, I can get both, but I need to get the, and I don't have to control it. I just have to make sure you can't stop me. So if we're hand fighting, you pull your hand away,
I see.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't
just has
matter
to be
what I
on play.
do.
My right hand is
I just have to make sure that he can't block me with his right hand. So we might be doing this. He starts to pull his hand away. I hook his knee,
That's brilliant.
pull, put my foot here. Or I win the hand fight, control, hook, foot on the knee, and then
Peel.
get to here.
That's brilliant.
Alright?
Brilliant. Very cool.
Give it a warning, if you're gonna be a bit obnoxious when you're on top, you're gonna hurt your knee. This is a really powerful sweep. We call this the shotgun sweep. So, and I'll do it gently at first, and I'll kind of show you how powerful it can be. So if I've done all this, and I've managed to get this is my starting point. I basically have two options when I'm here. I can push him away and start to sit up, I then come up on singles, stuff like that. Or, I can now instead place my foot on his hip, almost like I would on a step ladder, and I'm going to shoot the deep della diva hook, which again I used to think required a lot of flexibility to get to. That's because I was doing it wrong. But if every problem that you have with flexibility in jiu-jitsu is fixed not by flexibility, it's fixed by hip movement. So I'm going to shoot my deep della diva hook by moving my hips. You see how that starts to move you
Shears
around?
my knee as well.
Exactly. So this sweep, so come back in the heel. Yeah. So here, the way this sweep works is it's going to create one of two options. I'm either going to buckle your knee to the ground, or like you notice how Richie was stepping back? Those are the two ways that we can potentially finish it. So the way that it goes, and I'll do it kind of lightly this time, is we go here, and then I turn. And then that gives you a ton of control of the guy's knee. Alternately, as I do this, start just stepping back at. See how when he steps back, then I can come in behind and do all kinds of different things. So I'm either going to buckle your knee completely and
Yeah,
be
it's
able
weird.
to.
I actually didn't expect to fall in that direction.
It's really,
It's really strange.
The first time this gets done on you, if you're not expecting it, you're gonna try to hold it, and then your knee will just go. So I highly encourage you not to fight this. I've had a couple students just like hurt people not like in our club because we all have been warned, but occasionally a student will roll with like a new guy or someone else, and the guy will be trying too hard to fight it, and it just buckles your knee really badly. So you don't want to be the guy who's getting your knee hurt by this. Just be aware that as soon as I get to here, and this is our starting point. So my foot is on his hip, I'm using it to climb my hip up, and my hip is moving, so I'm unhooking my della diva hook, my butt is moving onto his knee. That's my starting point. I'm going to turn onto my shoulder, fire this hook through, and hook just above his knee. I used to do it at the hip, I find it's more powerful at the knee because it's the end of the lever. Now when I start to straighten my legs out, I'm going to drop my butt, and that starts to buckle the guy. And you can bring him, like we'll go over the directions that you can take the guy once you've learned how to buckle.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Can I see that on somebody else?
Absolutely.
All you're doing, you're just kicking your feet straight
Pretty much,
and moving your butt out of the way.
Yeah. So I'm stepping on his hip. I'm lifting my butt up. I want my butt touching his leg almost the whole time. A common error here is people go like this. They get too far away and they go to shoot it. It doesn't quite work. Right? The reason we call it the shotgun sweep is it's click, click, boom, boom. Like, that's how hard you can buckle a guy with it, right? So, 1, 2, the knee winds up. I'm actually winding it up because I'm going to kick through and straighten my legs out. And that's just one of the other potential finishes, is it goes right to a back attack. Most of the time I use it, but like the guys that are familiar with it, that's kind of what I end up with, because rather than get launched, they choose to just put the knee down for a second, and that creates the vulnerability for the back attack.
What was the mistake you said earlier? A common mistake is...
Is to pull the hips away. So what people do is they're like, ah, and then they miss. Right? If your hips become detached, you're extending yourself into a weaker position. I want to climb, maintain my attachment, rotating onto my shoulder. You can actually use your hand here if you need to pause. Wind this leg up, shoot it through. See how this is starting to push on his knee? And as I hook on his knee, that rotates it. Important that when I do this, my knee, just can you say down? My knee does not go in. You don't want to put yourself in a knee bar. That would be really embarrassing. The deep belly heel hook involves my foot being through, but my knee being on this side of your hip. You never insert your knee in the belly heel guard. Alright, so just one more time. I got here. I strip this grip, and this is going to be a momentary thing. I don't hang out here. The second I strip this grip, I step and go. Looking just above the knee, and I start to straighten my legs out and drop my butt. Pull the guy out of base and you're back and forth.
And you want to keep on control of the hand for as long as possible?
As long as possible, yeah.
If your leg
went
heel?
down and hit the thigh, went down to the ankle.
If
And
my
then the heel
leg,
grip?
Yeah, so here, right, so you got this grip?
yeah.
This one, and went
If I went
down?
here,
Yeah.
yeah, it's still okay. It's just not going to be as powerful. Like, notice I can still move you. It's just not nearly as powerful. Yeah. So if you have to miss high. You know, get about there, because it works great even if you. Because I used to do it with both feet on the hip, and it worked fine. This just works better.
One more thing.
Yeah.
It seems to me that the way you're executing it is that the tempo is fast to strip the grip and put the foot on the hip.
Very.
Slow to get your legs into the correct entanglement, and then fast again in order to execute it.
No, I was doing it slow just for illustrative purposes. This whole thing goes fast. Like, let me do one, like, sort of live speed. I don't want to blast your knee or anything, but and let's say I got the key where I pulled, he pushes my leg down, 1, 2, and then see how I come behind him, and now I've got my attacks. So it goes quick. As soon as I step on your hip, I want to lift and shoot my leg in and then start to stabilize.
That's really
Make sense?
That's super.
Right, so all we've done is created temporary vulnerability in structure. This broke his structure. This is my cue to attack. This is going to break his base. And now from here, I can kind of attack however, and we'll go through the follow-ups. I just want you guys to get good at making the guy turn, buckling his knee.
From the heel and the hand, both,
Yeah.
hips, both hands on the hips.
We'll go through that afterwards.
Okay.
For now, just keep control of the heel and try to buckle the guy's knee, and we'll kind of see how he lands. Because finishing this is actually kind of a series. There's like 3 or 4 finishes. We'll try to do the 2 main ones today, and then see how it goes.
Very cool.
All right. Anybody need to see that again? No? Cool. Let's do it. Like I was just mentioning, the main use of this in no-gi is, at a higher level, is forcing the guy to take a step backwards, right? Because especially, like I've been fortunate enough to have a couple of MMA fighters train at my club, and one of them is actually a really good wrestler, and his base is ridiculous. And I mean, I've had success with it, turning his knee and getting to his back. But as he started to get wise to that, most of the time, this sort of thing happens. And again, better jiu-jitsu guys, good base. They don't just fall over at the drop of a hat. What they will do is they'll start to turn, they'll feel themselves buckling, and they'll shift their base by stepping their foot backwards. So what we're going to do, when that happens, I got to here, I started to fire, and I see him doing that. I'm going to drop my knees around his ankle, creating immobilization here, grab his hip, and I'm going to reach his other ankle here and come up with my head in between. For those of you that have ever wrestled, know what an Iranian finish is. An Iranian is if you're on your knees like you're falling. I came in, I put my head in the middle and lift you up. Alright? So this is an Iranian finish for the shotgun sweep. I shoot, he starts to move, I drop, and I come underneath or in front, kind of whichever you can get. If you want to get good at this finish, it's usually better to come around like this, and with your head kind of stuck in the guy's crotch. He's kind of got two choices now. He can try to fall forward, and if he does, that's fine. I'm just going to come up on the back attack. But usually, when we come here, by arching my neck, I'm going to take him backwards. Right now, you have two choices when you finish here. You can come in on an over-unders pass if you have like a lot of proficiency with that style of passing, or because I still am around the back of the leg, I can roll here, and that's my preferred finish. Is to get to like a double overs. But I finish it. I start to move them. I drop to my knee in the base here with my head up nice and strong. I drive them backwards, and as I do, I roll and pop my head through. Pinch the knees together. Technically stand up, keeping my chest on his hips and moving into the pass.
Can I see that percent?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, go here, he starts to step back. Drop, my knee hooks around his ankle. My right foot comes into base, I'm hooking his hip. I'm hooking his ankle here with my left. Looking up, driving back, turning. Hugging both knees. I find my base with my right hand. Unhook my leg, find my base with my right leg. And I stay off my knees, usually to finish this pass. If you want to get technical into the pass stuff, it's better to be on my toes than on my knees.
Or pressure.
Yeah. Does anybody need to see that again?
Yeah, one more time. So it's just your posture, baby.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Like, try to stay up. When I do this, try to stay up in position. See how you went forward? As soon as you go forward, like the only way you can fight me doing this is by leaning forward. And as soon as I do that, you do that, you give me the back attack. So those are the two choices you're going to put the guy to, right? So usually, as you go to here and catch this, as soon as you start leaning forward, now I start to make like I'm going to come up on your back. You might lean back. Then I take you backwards. I'm basically putting you almost into a leg drag at that point. Like I'm here, I'm coming out, putting my head down, pinching your knees together, base here, technical stand up, and just walking your hips, keeping your legs off the mat, if I can.
You're controlling that ankle the entire time through the fall.
Both ankles the whole time. Right? One of the things I never want you to do is to turn out and just get back to your base. Like really common thing, you know how to do tripod sweep? Yeah, really common thing. I get tripod swept, like, no big deal, I get right back up. Because you don't control both levers to my hip, I still have mobility. So, if you were to tripod sweep me and then catch this ankle, now I'm stuck. So it's the same idea here. I want to create the opportunity to control both levers to your hip with my hand, with my leg. As I take you back, I still control both levers, and then I can move in my house.
And you're just closing your knee on that lever? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
so I'm going first here. As I turn him, I go here and put my head through. So my knee's just wrapping around his ankle. Right. And this is what steers me. If I go like this and I feel him lean forward, then I go behind. And I can try to pull him out of base and finish that way. So again, it's always to a certain degree up to him. You can choose to go backwards, you can choose to go forward. I have an answer either. Well, most of the time, because of the speed of it, like we're doing it slowly, but if I go like a little bit faster, see how he kind of, I've already put him down by himself, but if he stays in base, I can pop my head through.
Alternating De La Riva hooks. Start with your partner square in front of you. Your feet are on his hips. Grab a heel with one hand. Push his other hip away with your foot. Curl your free leg around his leg, while hopping your hips over, so you are sitting right on top of his foot. Release him, and he'll square up to you. Grab the heel, push the hip, curl and insert the leg. Pin his foot with your hips. How deep you insert your wrapping leg is a matter of personal preference, and also depends on the type of opponent you are fighting. A good starting point is to have your instep right on the inside of his hips. The De La Riva guard is a common method to control an opponent who has stood up in your guard. Most of the time when you are using this guard, you will also want to control one of his arms.
So this is Nogi Barambola, okay, the grip here, normally would be the belt to the collar. I want to be grabbing right here in the knee, okay? So the first thing I want to do is off balance and make him go back a little. Here. I'm going to drop the De La Riva hook a little and grab right behind his knee. Now from here, I'm going to pull with my arm. I'm going to replace my De La Riva hook here and pull him towards me, okay? Once he's loaded up, I use my right foot to put him on the mat. From here, normally because I would have the belt here, I don't nogi, so what I do is I go from this to his lat here. Okay, from here to here. Okay, now I keep this, keeps him off the mat. I come here and get control of the leg. Here, I float, put him on my left hook, float him out, and seatbelt. Here, so one more time, speed. Here. Okay, now, get real close to this knee grip here. Okay, so I have the De La Riva hook. When I push him back, I drop the hook. I got his ankle here. Here, so come over here. See. Here, so my hook drops down and I cup here. Now, because I'm on my elbow here, I'm going to pull back and I'm going to help with the hook here. Okay? And that would be replacing the belt grip normally. Here, the trick is I've got to drop the hook to get the grip and then I reinforce it. Now, when I pull, I'm going to create like a twist here. So I'm actually pushing his heel in and creating that with both arms. So I'm here, come up, here. Okay. Now look at this hand. It's holding the Achilles. When I come back here, the minute I go here, I shoot my forearm across his heel. So as his heel comes up off the floor a little, here, I want to, instead of pushing here, I use my arm to kind of twist it. And that loads this foot up to help me put him on the floor. Now I go from the knee immediately into the armpit, here. Okay, keeping this hook and control the leg. Now you can even hold your own foot here. So I'm grabbing my toes here, and that'll help load. Keep this extended here so he can't turn back in. Here he can spin his hips real quick, okay? Versus here, it's harder for him to turn. Seatbelt, and you're on the back. Same thing if he was in like one knee up, in a combat base here, same idea. I come up, get control, here. See on my foot, here, into the back. Okay, also, the setup I like from reverse De La Riva, which is a little more common nogi, is the tripod sweep. So I'm going to be pushing here and kicking here. When he falls, I switch my grip and I use that to get to the Barambola as well. So reverse De La Riva, the same idea. When I make him fall, he's going to post with that hand here, because that's his way back up, you know? So, and all I'm going to do is, as he's falling, I'm going to put my De La Riva hook here. That's it.
All right, guys, so I'm going to work a little bit of kind of a Barambola retention drill where John's going to be working his back mount escapes and sliding his back to the mat, and I'm going to be working the placement of my legs and the momentum of my upper body. I'm not starting with very much momentum, so this is going to kind of engage that sort of rotation of my hips and really force myself to roll over each time. But I'm going to try to keep it as smooth as possible. even though I don't have much space to roll up. So as I'm here with John, if I begin on his back, okay, I'm not even going to get a good harness. I'm just going to start here. We're going to topple off to the side. As John turns and swings his hip off, I'm going to take my bottom leg and I bring it out from underneath him. So my bottom leg is now out underneath here. I tuck underneath, I roll to the top, notice where my top shin is. I take John over, top hook sets in place. John is going to escape. I roll through, take him over, top hook sets in place. Yep. Take him through, roll over, top hook sets in place. Look, I'm here in position, I need to cut myself underneath. This leg's gonna come over, I capture this top knee of his, and now I step my leg over, he starts to swing through. I'm already underneath to this side. He swings through, I'm already underneath to this side. Boom. And we can continue that drill. Again, I make my tuck and roll transition over and over. I'm forced to sort of use my own momentum, generate that with just that side crunch, and John's getting that practice, getting his back over and over and over to the mat.
Hi, I'm Stefan Kesting from GrappleArts.com. This is Ustap, and we are at Open Mat MMA in Toronto. Ustap is known for a lot of things. He's a super high-level competitor, gi and no gi. He's got a ton of metal bling. And one of the positions he's known for is the reverse De La Riva guard. And it's a position that I use a little bit, but quite honestly, he's a lot better at it than I am. It's one of his bread and butter moves. I think that's fair.
Yeah, sure.
And so I'm happy to have him explain it to you. You'll do a better job than I will. So, what's the basic use of the reverse De La Riva? What cues you to go to that position?
So in terms of the reverse De La Riva, primarily when people first start using it is to defend against the knee cut. So when the person starts pressuring their leg across your opposite leg.
So if you're in the guard and I somehow free my legs up and I'm cutting here, going for the underhook.
Yeah, you're trying to cut through, you're trying to get your knee. Yeah, you're trying to get your knee down to the mat, and what's going to happen is I'm going to try to use my reverse De La Riva hook and the rest of my body to block your knee from making contact. And if you can't get down to the mat, you can't pass me with this kind of pass. And then from there you establish your grip control, and then you start your offense.
So why don't we talk about the regular De La Riva first, and then show how the reverse De La Riva is basically the sister, the mirror image of it.
Okay, so in terms of regular De La Riva, what we have is we have our opponent's leg in between our legs. And what regular De La Riva really means is that I'm controlling his ankle with my outside hand and my outside hook here. Okay, my other leg could be doing all sorts of different things. Now from here, a lot of times people are comfortable in this position, they have all sorts of sweeps and stuff, but what your opponent can do is sometimes he might break the grip on the ankle, so now his leg is free to move. And then he needs to start forcing his leg and cutting to the other side here, okay? So what we need to be aware of is that once he clears this side and he starts to move his leg, what we have is we have our other leg that can block him, okay? And like Stefan was saying, it's a sister position because now, instead of using our outside leg to hook, we're using our inside leg to hook, okay? One thing to note that's really important about the reverse De La Riva, and the De La Riva as well, is that I'm at least slightly on my side. You don't want your hips flat to the mat with your hook trying to go here, because you see this gap that happens. When I shift my hips a little bit to the side, the gap disappears and my leg much more like entwines his leg.
It's not much, I can't pull my leg out anymore.
Right.
But when you were flat on your back,
Yeah, when I'm here like this,
it felt
it's
like
really
it's
easy. So the other thing that you want to remember, so let's say he's going to be breaking the grip, entering reverse De La Riva again. Okay, so not only do I want to follow with my hook, and I try to get it hooked on with this instep ankle area right into his hamstring as soon as I can, okay? But Stefan's not going to stop here. He's going to pressure in more with his knee. What I want to make sure that I do is I get my arm, right here under my leg, okay? So now that knee can in no way touch the mat here. It's blocked not only by my leg, but also by my arm, okay? That's kind of the position of this part of your body. From here, what you want to do is with your other foot, depending on his height, sometimes if he's really high, put it on his hip. Sometimes when people go a bit lower, maybe go down to this knee, okay, I'm a big fan of putting it up on the shoulder. Okay. In order to get up on the shoulder, especially if they're very tight, you might have to push away with your hands and then get it here. The last thing you want to be careful with this position is this arm, especially in gi. Even in no gi it can give you trouble. What you want to make sure is that I'm not just controlling this ankle, maybe this hand, and now this arm has access to my head. Yeah, exactly. So, once I block the shoulder, okay, I'll make sure I block the arm here, and then and only then will I grab the ankle, okay, when I know that this arm can't really bug me.
Is that the same if I'm standing or kneeling, that final position?
Very good question. So the position, it's more or less the same. Again, I'm not as worried about this arm, because if you're standing, it usually means that like you're further away from me. When you're standing, it's much more important to control the ankle, okay? When you come in with pressure, kind of, down here, I don't need to be as focused on controlling the ankle because all your pressure is into me, okay? I'm much more worried about controlling the arm, get space with my arm and get my foot here, and then I can control the ankle. If at any point you start to back away, I'll immediately switch to the ankle, because I don't have to worry about that arm coming in.
Okay. Then what's your like bread and butter technique or techniques from here?
Right, so once I'm set in this position again, oftentimes it's initially used as a way to block the knee cut. I have some attacks from here, but one thing I think is really important for people to get and understand, especially if you're more comfortable with your De La Riva, is a way to get back to your De La Riva, okay? So after we stop the initial knee cut pressure here, okay, what you want to do to get back to your De La Riva, it's kind of simple, but people sometimes forget about the option, is all I need to do is I need to bring this hook back to the outside of his body. So I can plant it either on his thigh. Some people, like for example, if you watch the meows, they like this position all the way out on the hip. Once I have this, I'm going to use this leg to kind of lift my hips up, and I'm going to switch my hands under. And now I'm back in my De La Riva position with the outside hand and outside leg controlling Stefan's lead leg. Sometimes if he's pressuring in real tight, okay, it might feel like I can't get this leg out, okay? This is where I really appreciate this leg on the shoulder, okay? Because from here I can kind of kick him away a little bit. That frees up the pressure here. And then I can switch back out to my De La Riva.
So that's a defensive option from the reverse De La Riva. What's your go-to offensive option from the reverse De La Riva?
Okay, so in terms of offense, the position that I really like, it has a lot of names. I call it spin under. Mendes brothers call it kiss of the dragon. Some people call it spiral guard. Okay, so once I'm here like this, what it involves me spinning in between Stefan's legs and starting to attack his back. So it looks a little like this. And then I end up with rear hooks behind him. So the move can sometimes be a little bit intimidating to people. And definitely before you try to do the full move, you need to get comfortable doing the spinning part of it. So one thing that really helps people when I explain it, okay, is this. So we're starting with our reverse De La Riva hook. And for this, anytime I go for the move, I usually switch to the underhook. Okay, because it makes the spinning portion easy. Now when you're here, the most common mistake I see people do is they really try to hold this full hook when they turn, and they just can't get completely over. What you want to do is you actually, when you go for the spin, you release your hook, okay? So look, this hook is going to come out. The rest of my leg is still around his calf. So from here, I'm going to pressure into his leg with my leg. My arm's going to pressure the opposite way. So I have pressure going this way and pressure going that way with my arm. Okay, from here, with these two counter pressures, if I start to kind of bring this leg over my head, it becomes pretty easy to spin, okay? If you're still having trouble with that, what you can do is with this second arm, reach under his leg, and now with these 3 points attached, it should be fairly easy to spin all the way through, okay? So remember, you don't need to keep this leg extremely hooked in. For the defensive part of the knee cut, you do. But once you start going offensive and you go to spin under, the foot just drops out, and then you can spin very easily.
So I'll stop. Once you've spun underneath and you end up with that position, what are the typical reactions you see, and what are your typical follow-ups to that upside down, hooks in position?
Right. Okay. So a lot of this depends on whether or not your opponent is initially standing on this second foot. So for now, we're gonna imagine that he is. So again, we have our position, okay? Foot up on the shoulder, up on the hip. So once I spin through behind him, okay, sorry, can we just shift down a little bit? Okay, once you spin through, you end up in this kind of position here. I personally like to bring my far leg over so that I have both kind of butterfly hooks in the back of Stefan's knees. One other thing that I'm really, really big on is I don't switch my arm. If you can see my right arm here, see how it's kind of like still underhooked, a little bit awkward? What a lot of people tend to do is they tend to do this, okay? It's a minor grip switch, but at a high level, if you let this foot go, yeah, he can step the leg out and you can lose like all the positional advantage that you gained. Okay, so make sure anytime you guys are switching grips, it should be very like pre-planned. So I'll keep these, if he keeps standing, the first thing that I do is I'm gonna push forward with my legs, okay? So he can drop to his hands and his knees like happened here. One of the other things that people commonly do is they'll drop just to their hands as soon as possible, okay? Boom, just like that. Now what you need to do, as I push, I know he's gonna touch his hands down, and in that moment, I'm gonna switch up to his hips here. Okay, so if we do it a little bit more live, so as I kick, I'm gonna also jump for his hips. Right there. From here, I keep a lot of tension, and I'm not just standing up, but I'm pulling myself up on his hips. Right to here, I'll stay tight, get my first hook, and then I'll probably upgrade to the harness.
Well, there's a big size difference between you and I, but that's a lot of pressure on the back of my knees. It just basically folds my legs when you're pulling with your arms and pushing with your shins.
So another slightly different thing can happen from there. Once you spin under, okay? So the first time when I pushed forward, okay, Stefan went to his hands and then he stayed there. But what can happen sometimes is, let's say I push forward, he goes to his hands, okay? I switch up to the hips, and now Stefan might think, okay, so Ostep has my hips under control, so I need to stand up and try to clear those grips. But as he does, you keep pulling, and you end up pulling him onto you. From here, you can try to stuff him down in front, and then get your harness. So depending on how he reacts after, if he stays down on his hands, you just sort of climb up. But if he tries to clear those grips, if the person's not used to it, like there's so much pull that once you stand, you just fall right back over the person.
Well, that's fantastic. I think that's really going to help a lot of people. It certainly helped me. So thank you very much, Ostap.
Thank you.
This move is one of my favorite moves when training Nogi and doing De La Riva. One of my favorite moves from the De La Riva Nogi. So I hope the guys I'm going against are not watching this. I started having the De La Riva hook, right, on my opponent. And sometimes I see that this leg, is not so secure to hold it like this. So I'm gonna start having my hand go underneath, see between my leg and his leg, and I'm gonna hug the leg. But I have to have my elbow joint very deep on his ankle. So I'm gonna use this hook to pull myself in. You see here? As I'm pulling myself in here, most of the times my foot is coming out. Okay? It's already not so deep on him. But I'm having this here very tight. You see how tight I am to the leg, right? I am not here, otherwise I cannot hug it. I have to be pulling myself tight, look. Now that I'm in this position here, I can let it go. You can keep it here too, depends on how your ankle feels. You know, but even if you're not so flexible, you can let it go. But watch how this is below his knee. See, my leg is below the knee, it's not over. This one here is hooking right behind the knee. And I'm gonna stretch the leg to the side and forward as I'm bringing this heel out of the ground. Look how his heel is out of the ground. It's time for me to put pressure right here. I hold this leg and now I'm coming up on top. So one more time. Look, I have the no-gi hook here. I'm gonna have this, but it's not tight. So I'm gonna hook. I'm gonna pull myself in. Look how I pull myself towards the leg and hug it.
You can remove this leg here, you don't need it anymore. Now I'm gonna start stretching my leg to the side and towards the other side. As I'm doing that, I'm moving my body sideways. I'm not doing this. I cannot sweep him here. He's not falling down. Look, there's no pressure. Look how my body goes sideways. No, don't fall yet. It's very hard to balance when you get to that position. Understand? So as soon as you get here, the guy's almost falling. I am having to bring him to me so he doesn't fall. Because his leg is out of the ground. So look, any pressure here, look how it brings him down. Boom. Now I'm holding his other ankle. So I can start coming up on top. Okay. So as soon as I'm doing this, look, I'm doing this movement. His ankle was never on the ground. His ankle going on the ground, it doesn't fall down. Just one more time here, because this is not as easy as it looks. Okay, so you guys get the motion. Less motion on this. How my knee is gonna turn. I'm not pushing him like this. I'm pushing with my knee like this. You see my knee is doing this motion here. So as soon as I'm here, look how my knee is. You see how the angle is not like this. Otherwise, it can take my leg out. You see, it's like this. As I'm putting my back on the ground, that's why I on this side, do this. Go. Enjoy.
This way here, so I can just like dive on the move. See, I just go straight to it. Just remember one thing, then he has to pop out. So he's here, I don't even have to wait for him to do anything. I can just like dive in the move myself. I can just go here, force the move. And it's actually like when you go for that one from here, it's much easier than from the half guard. The half guard have to be pushing the guy off, they're like be creating space. This one here already have the space. So I go from here, you can actually just sit up here, oh, just go straight to it. For now, I have the ankle control. Once I get this grip in here, I don't need that anymore. Okay, so let's work on both options from half guard and from the De La Riva. So De La Riva should be a little bit easier. Go here, my legs are right there. Now just push him off and finish the move. He can just drop his knee. It's not like he's going to do anything special here, but he can just kick his leg out, and now I have nothing from here. So what I want to do, I want to have my shoulder putting pressure up, and this hand has to be like pulling his leg down here. It's like I'm really like hanging on that knee, trying to keep his knee out. Now, I'm like stuck with his knee. If I go here, he can pull his leg out. And I want to have the same pressure on the legs there, but now it's way too far. So I want to stay here, like little space. If I'm here, there's like way too much space. He's like, his ankle's like way too far from his knee, so I want to stay here. Now I can get him off balance and finish the move. Here, I don't really have anything here. So when you guys get that position, guys, when you guys go from the belly heel from here, so that move just goes straight to the knee. So you want to go right here. So that's why I like to have the grip. Kind of like, I feel like it helps me to like stay on him and go under. For now, I still have the grip, but once I want to start to finish the move, I have to let go because I'm gonna need this arm to pulse on it. If I stay here, I'm gonna be stuck on my back. So I need this hand here, and I can just take him like wherever I want from here.
So now I'm gonna play De La Riva guard, okay? So make sure you control his ankle very well, alright? So now as soon as the guy start push my leg down, okay, I'm gonna transition my grip, okay? I'm gonna come around his neck, I'm gonna let go his ankle, come around and control my shin over here, alright? So that's one. Two, okay, I need to slide my right foot down, okay, and put my hook over here behind his leg, alright? Okay, after that I'm gonna push his leg a little bit, okay, and force the guy step forward. So the guy step forward, I'm gonna hug his leg right now over here. The same time when I hug his leg over here, I need to keep my right shin, okay, behind his leg over here. Alright, so this way I block the guy, cross his knee over here and try the pass, okay? So I block his knee with my right shin over here. All right, that's one. Okay, now I'm gonna transition to the X guard, okay, to the other side. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna change, put my both legs up and go to the other side. Okay, as soon as I apply the X guard, the guy will drop his knee all the way down. All right, so make sure here, guys, remember you need to keep your hand, okay, on front his knee and keep his leg full extend over here. All right, that's one detail. All right, now I'm gonna pass his leg to the other side. I'm gonna do this. Push his leg up and change. Okay, after you change, same thing. Block his knee again. Don't let the guy bend his knee like this. All right, so make sure you keep his leg extending. All right, and then now after that, all right, I'm gonna trap his ankle over here with my left foot. Okay, put my foot on top his heel over here and push forward a little bit. All right, so now after that, after I push his foot forward, all right, make sure my right knee is inside over here. I try to push the guy back. Okay, so as soon the guy start falling, I need to use my hook, okay, my right hook, for lift his leg a little bit to help me to finish the sweep. All right, so first I'm gonna do this. Okay, push the guy back. As soon as the guy starts falling, the guy usually put his hand on the mat over there. Exactly. Now I'm gonna use my hook to lift him and help me to finish the sweep. All right, so I'm gonna lift and then I come on top. When I finish the sweep over here, all right, the guy is gonna open, try to push me back. As soon as the guy try to push me back, I'm gonna put my arm over here. One, trap his hips. Two, apply the underhook over here. And then I'm gonna pass now. Lean forward first, okay? Go to the side, okay? After I get his side over here, I pass my arm over his head, his shoulder, and stabilize the side control. All right, one more time. So start again on the De La Riva guard. So I'm here. The guy start push my knee all the way down, and then before, okay, my hooks come down, all right, and then I come around and control my shin, okay, and then now after that, make sure you drop your foot behind his leg, push the guy forward, force the guy step forward. After the guy step forward, the same time, when I control his leg over here, my right shin comes here up inside his knee. Okay, so this way, I block the guy, try to cross his knee over here. All right, so I try to hug first, and then I put my shin, inside his knee. All right, that's okay. So that's the first control. All right, and also make sure you keep the grip on your shin over here. All right, so now after that, I'm gonna transition the grip. Okay, I'm gonna transition put my legs up first, and then I'm gonna play X guard to the other side. As soon as I transition the X guard to the other side, the guy's gonna drop his knee down. All right, okay, so after that, guys, make sure you stay over here. Now you're gonna use your both hands, push. Okay, so you see, so your head stay up. Okay, now put your head down. Use your both hands, push his leg up and pass his leg to the other side over here. All right, and then now come back your hands on top his knee again and put your head up again like this. All right, and trap his leg very well. All right, so after that, I unlocked here the X guard, put my left foot on top his heel and start push his foot forward. All right, that's one. All right, so now I'm gonna use my right knee here on front his hips and try to put the guy back. All right, so I force the guy fall back, As soon as the guy start fall, of course the guy is gonna put some base. As soon as the guy start put some base, I need to use my hook to lift his leg, and at the same time, I'm gonna follow him. All right, so lift, and then I'm gonna follow him over here. All right. As soon as the guy try the answer, exactly, I transition. I let go his leg and put the overhook, okay, and control his shoulder to his left side over here. All right, that's one. Two, apply the underhook over here, put my other hand on top the shoulder, okay, lean forward first, step to the side, all right, raise my left knee, pass my arm, you know, above his shoulder, all right, meet my hands together, put my both knees down and stabilize the side.
Hey guys, this is Will Horner from Trading Guards Jiu-Jitsu and MMA with my student Andy here, and we're going to show you some moves from the reverse De La Riva guard. Alright, here we go. Come on, let's go. Alright, look. So, first, a lot of times when a guy is trying to pass knee through the middle, I like to go to kind of like a reverse De La Riva. The best way to explain this is that if my knees are facing to the right here, that's kind of what he wants in order to pass my guard. So what I want to do as a principle is I want to step and turn my hips the opposite way. Alright? So as long as my knees are facing this way, I'm going to hook behind his thigh with my right leg, my right foot, and I'm going to hook his ankle with my left calf here. And I'm creating pressure this way. That makes it very difficult for him to try to pass my guard. Look over here. Right, look at this. So as soon as he starts coming in, I go over here. Foot hooks behind, knee on knee, pressing to the left like this. I like to also hold his ankle with my left hand. So go like this. Keep the pressure to the left. Now, I'm probably not going to sweep him here, but that's not the sweep. The sweep's going to come when he starts coming in. I'm going to lock my feet together, just like this. And as he keeps putting his weight on me, my right hand's going to go in his armpit, just like a stiff arm, like a punch. And I'm going to kick my legs. I'm going to scissor them right up, trying to lift high, low with my left. And I'm going to sweep them to the left. And finish the pass, knee to the middle, whatever way you want to do it. Again. So I'm going to be here. I go to the left. He starts coming in. Right hand's going to go to his armpit. Right foot hooking behind his thigh. And big, powerful scissor. Make sure you're lifting him with your right leg as you're scissoring. And then just follow with the knee to the middle, or you can cover with half guard, whatever you want. Again. Let's do it this way. So he comes in, my right leg's going to plant. I'm going to turn my hips this way. Make sure you have a good strong hook initially with that right foot in order to bring your right knee into his knee. Now as he continues to press, make sure you grab his ankle. Keep coming in. I'm going to grab with my right hand on his armpit and I'm going to scissor. Watch my legs. And get up and take the pass.
Hi guys, this is Michael Tomei, with me is TN. We're here at the Australian Elite Team headquarters in Tullamarine, and I'm here with Submission Radio to show a technique of the week. Real quickly, I'm the head coach of TFT in Caroline Springs and 2014 gi and no gi black belt Pan Pacific champion. And I'm going to be showing you guys a nice little knee bar from an inverted De La Riva. So guys, I'm going to be showing a knee bar transition from inverted De La Riva to the opposite knee. This is a submission that I practiced in training. I was able to secure an opponent in the finals of the black belt 2014 Pan Pacific Championships. I start off with a control grip of my opponent's ankle and my leg wrapped around my opponent's hip. My toes will be coming to the outside. Now when I'm ready to move, my hand rolls in so that the back of my hand is against the inside of his ankle and my hand swivels, my free hand, my right hand swivels around and collects my opponent's knee. Now as I'm rolling, I extend my hips to get height and lock my legs up. Typically my opponent's foot will catch against my neck or shoulder, and with an extension, I can get behind the knee and create a lot of pressure and get the tap. So guys, going for a knee bar again. You can have this foot in one of three places, up against the hip, against the bicep, or even behind the knee. But I think a standard and safe way to go is to have your foot up here against the hip. My left hand is going to shoot, instead of being on top of my opponent's ankle, to inside so that my bicep is collecting his ankle. I'm going to roll and circle and extend my hips before chopping and bringing my opponent down. Now if my opponent's foot is a bit loose, I'll scoop it up, place it behind my armpit and lock my elbow. It's important from here guys not to put too much effort into tweaking the knee. Instead bring your knees together and try to roll his heel away from his body. You're gonna have a lot of success in extending the leg and get on a quick and tight secure knee bar.
So my friend Brucutu is trying to pass my guard here, okay, from here. And then what I'm gonna go for the De La Riva here, okay guys? So it's hard for me to get on the De La Riva with the hand here. So I'm gonna put my hand across his face and push and put my first hook here. Okay, in. Okay, as soon as I put this one, I'm gonna put another one across. Okay, now this arm here on my neck, I'm gonna take it off and I'm gonna cross like an arm drag here. Okay, down. Okay guys, I'm gonna hold his waist here and I'm gonna pull him like a spring. My leg is gonna work like a spring and I'm gonna spin over my my left ear. Here. Okay. From here, look, I already have the grip. I can go. So, my friend is trying to pass my guard. Here, usually he's gonna put the hand here. So I'm gonna use my hand to push him and to get in the angle for me to pass the hook here. Boom. Okay? 1, 2. Now I'm gonna cross my his arm as an arm drag, and I'm gonna hold his legs here on top. Now my leg works as a spring here. Okay, and I pull him and roll over my legs here. Okay, and I already land in a good position here, you know, from here to head chokes, head back attacks in action.
Start him on the side because he put me on the side, and his hand is here, so I have to control the wrist, and then I grab like I'm gonna do an arm drag. In fact, he will pull back some, so I go with that, and I stuff it in, and that puts my hips, it loads my hips again. Now the mistake people do is they want to keep going this way. You don't. As soon as I load him up, as soon as I grab the arm and I push it, I'm here, I'm going over my shoulder. So I'm starting here, and he pushed down. Immediately, I have to get this hook here, this reverse De La Riva hook, because he's trying to put the knee over. It's hard for him to put the knee over right now, okay? Because of that hook, okay? Then, as he pushed the leg down, the other leg blocks, so I'm blocking his hip with my shin, and I'm blocking here. Now it feels like an arm drag, but instead of pulling across my body, I tuck it under him, and then I load my hips, and then I go over my head. And then that's it. One more time. So he got me flat, he pushed down, immediately I hook. See my insteps hooked over here. And the other leg is here and I'm controlling his wrist. I do the arm drag between his legs and then I'm gonna load this direction. But then I immediately flip over. Now I'm in this position. If I want, I can go here, finish the Kimura, get my side. Okay? All right, other side go.
Work the kind of De La Riva position. And I'm going to put this hook in. And I'm going to elevate and get him pulled up right here, okay? Once I'm here, I like to switch my grip. You can finish this with this grip here. To me, I'd rather switch the other grip and get him off balance more. Right here, I can't really pull any further with this, okay? But if I switch my grip here, now I can really get him move the other direction. Chop on a knee, come all the way up. And start working my passes from right there. One more time. Legs on the outside, controlling his ankle. You can even have your hook underneath right here if you wanted to. You can transition your grip underneath right away. But typically I always end up using this grip until I'm ready to sleep. Underhook his leg, my right arm. I'm going to elevate with that hook. Shoot this leg through, switch my grip, cut my knee to make sure you can't break that grip. Now I'm going to chop this leg underneath. Gives me my momentum to come all the way up. For me, the pass I like to do, I release the leg, hug the head, connect my hands with this leg already in there, switch my hips, step off.
Hi guys, Ricardo Cavalcante. I'm director from Guatemala City. I'm with Riva Salaverry here, UFC veteran. We're on show today, the position of the week. Hey, don't forget, next Friday, August 16, we have CISO, the biggest MMA event in Guatemala City while we are here. And we're going to share this position with you. Direct from Guatemala at the Olympic Center with the wrestling team in Guatemala. Very good people, training hard here. I'm very impressed with the city. I wish you guys enjoy the position. This position is very similar to the last one of the show. You are in the guard or something like this. I try all the time to control his arm. I'm never going to leave him free. But it's very easy. Don't change the other movie. It's very easy for the guy move without the gear, right? Now I'm using De La Riva, I like this hook. It helps me don't give the guy too much space. Also, my hands have so much better on his ankle and on his raise. His raise is very easy. He releases, so see? Now what is I going to do? Before he releases, I release myself, open space, I'm going to do this. It's natural, he try to release his hand. And he releases his hand with this. I'm going to use my foot, my elbow, I'm going to shoot my body inside of his leg like this. See? Now look, I lock the leg, this knee, I'm going to kick him there. I lock his leg with my foot. I have the grip here. You can make different grips. Any grip you like to do. If the leg was a little bit, if you can do your heel hook. Yeah, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu you can. Então, I work out for the straight foot lock. I just squeeze it, stretch my body. So in stand-up, I mean, the Riva is more easy control. Switch my hand from the heel, open space. Release the heel there, I can't grab it here. It's illegal no gi. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move my body. I shoot my press again. Keep this leg like this. Switch, stretch. Take this knee inside. Block. You put the foot here. Any position that you like. Here, in subdivision, in submission action, you hook at the shoulder. Or if the guy have a strong leg, okay, you just put switch him, block 2 points for you. Alright? It's the position of the week. Stay connected to us. We're going to say the news about season here in Guatemala City. And don't forget, nothing more important than Jiu-Jitsu.
Thing where I'm like, here, I do that kind of stuff. So like, it's my friend like nicknamed it's the salsa dancing pass, what the hell I do. So essentially, whether or not he has like De La Riva hooks, usually that's kind of how it starts out, is they have like some sort of locked up half guard, and they're trying to play De La Riva, or they're trying to play some form of open guard on me. So one of the things I like to do is like knee skipping. So if he has a shin, especially a hook, or like he's got like, he's kind of like this, is to knee skip to get free like the hooks. So what I'm talking about knee skipping is I want to come to the outside. So I pressure down, and so he can like extend out right, and then his knee skip to the outside. Pressure down. And I especially do it more when I have like a cross. So come in. So if I'm like here, I'll pressure into them with my knee, skip out and around. So I do that a lot, especially when people have like De La Riva hooks or something. So he's got a De La Riva hook, and he's trying to hook in. I'll turn my knee out, skip to the outside, and then what I'm trying to do is pressure out, shift my hip. All I'm really trying to do is making sure my opposite leg is right here. And what I'm going to do here is he can't just like move your leg out and recover guard, right? It's not going to happen. It's the mechanical advantage of me. If I'm back just an inch, 2, move your leg out and cover. Nothing. So all I'm really trying to do is when I do this, like I skip and I shuffle my feet out or whatever, or I'm back here and I skip, I knee skip or whatever it is. I'm trying to get this foot here so I can come down and like either rotate around or come from here, shrimps right, pressure down, come all the way out and around, things like that. So when I play this open guard game, like just real quick, and I play this and I try to skip and knee skip through and shuffle back, try to knee slice, pass, things like that. It's just going to be about trying to get this opposite foot here. So there are times too when he sits up, plays like a sitting guard, and he's got that one leg right, and I'll push against that head, step out to the outside, and down. So it's all about getting my outside foot over here. See, and so like if it was like gi and you have like spider grips or something like that, and they're playing the spider guard, a lot of times a lot of people have problems with this. It's because they're like bent over. But when I do it, and this is where I use that same kind of idea, so I'll back myself out. My grips go the outside, so in no-gi, even whatever, he has a hook on my foot, something like that, just trying to play foot on the hips. It's up, hips up and forward, and then I'm using that same idea where I'm back, skipping the outside. So it's that kind of just salsa movement, that just the basics is what it is. And it's like me just kind of doing the Toriendo style, out and around, stepping over the top. There's no real super magic secrets. One of my favorite ones though from the opening guard, which I like to do a lot, is I'll come down here and I'll make sure that I have the one leg in, and I'll come down, pull myself out, I'll put it back around. So those are just kind of a sample of the no-gi passes. Stop filming.
All right, guys, hey, I just want to say thanks a lot for promoting the videos and promoting what we're doing. And as promised, the bonus videos, here they are. A couple no-gi techniques. I've been showing a lot of stuff with gi, so I'm going to show you something pretty cool. We've been drilling a little bit from passing the De La Riva guard. So first thing here, Tanchi's got me here in the De La Riva. Okay, again, just like we worked in the spider guard, you never want to be up like super close to him here, okay? So what I like to do is control the legs here. So what I want to do, the first thing I'm going to do, almost like I'm going to do a back step pass. I'm going to control here, look, I'm going to pop this leg just to kind of clear it, and all in one motion, I'm going to circle, passing my arm under his armpit. At the same time, I still want to control the ankle here of this leg, pulling him down here. Now look, all in one motion, I'm going to roll over my shoulder. This way, I'm going to switch my legs in the air, kicking him down, and attacking the back. So again, he's here in De La Riva. I've got a low stance. I pop the hook. I'm going to sit out, diving here, controlling this leg still. I'm going to roll up on my shoulder. At the same time, look, this leg is going to kick his leg down, feeding it to my bottom leg. Attack through, take the back. Look at it from here. Okay, look, I'm going to control, stay low, pop, circle, control the leg, roll over this shoulder here. Okay, I'm going slow, but you're going to kick, go down, scoop your hips, and attack. So when you drill this, make sure you practice it slow first, but when you get it down, it's a fast motion, so you just want to right away, and then when you attack the back, Alright guys, second bonus video. We're going to work the back step pass, but this time instead of rolling to take his back, we're actually going to go right for a Kimura. And there's kind of two scenarios that can play out here. So again, staying low, you always got to control the feet here. This is where he's going to be pushing you here, taking off balance, okay? So look, again, I'm going to pop, I'm going to step around, but as I step around, instead of reaching under, I'm going to reach over the shoulder at the same time as I lock the Kimura. From here, roll on your shoulder. If you can pull him up here, lock, and now just finish the Kimura. Okay, so let's look at it again from like this angle here. So you control here, pop, step around, lock the Kimura, roll, pull him here. I have the Kimura lock, step over, finish. Okay? Sometimes you can't catch that leg and he's not going to come up top. Okay? So when that happens, we're going to switch to like an arm bar. So let's go here. Okay, same thing. Stay low, pop, roll around, stretch, go here. But look, I missed the position. He didn't roll. Keep the grip. Look, if he tries to come into me, here. Come up, slide your knee underneath, switch, attack the arm. Okay? So again, take the arm over. So it's kind of a fast move, kind of like a surprise move, but just practice it, drill it, just like anything in jiu-jitsu. If you drill it enough, it can become like part of your game. So thanks again, guys, and look out here in the next couple weeks for an email from me about the new video series coming out. And again, it's all up to whatever you guys, all your input, whatever you guys have said that you wanted. So That'll be coming next. Thanks.
Okay, so first I'm gonna start over here. The guy's gonna try to block me over here. Alright, so my left hand, okay, come inside under his knee over here. Okay, my right hand, I was on top his hips. Okay, I'm gonna push his hook all the way down. After I push his hook all the way down, I'm gonna step back with my left leg, and the same time I slide my left hand and apply the underhook over here on his leg. Okay, and then now I'm gonna do this. My right hand I'm gonna put on the mat to give me the base. Okay, and then now as soon as I throw my arm over here, okay, I put my hand outside on his neck. Alright, like this, and then now I'm gonna fall. Okay, put my back, okay, on the side under his neck. Alright, after that, okay, I'm gonna slide, put my head, you know, on front his shoulder, connect my hands together, okay, and apply the north south choke. Alright, so one more time. Sorry. The guy on body is gonna play reverse de la Riva, apply the hook. Okay, so the guy is gonna pass the arm outside my ankle. Alright, so I'm gonna start over here. My right hand is come on top of his hips. Okay, the guy is gonna block my chest. Okay, so now I can't control his neck over here. Alright, so good. 1, 2, my left hand I'm gonna put inside on his knee. Okay, that's 1. 2, I'm gonna transition the grip. Now my hand I was here, I put on top his belly. Okay, I'm gonna push his hook, his foot all the way down. On the same time I'm gonna step back with my left leg. Okay, and then I slide my hand under his knee. Alright, and my right hand I'm gonna put on the mat to give me the support. Okay, because when I start through my left arm over here, okay, look, I have the support now. My right hand I put on the mat. Okay, now I'm gonna slide straight my left arm over here and put my hand outside here on his neck. Okay, on the same time, after I control his neck, I'm gonna, you know, drop my weight down. Okay, put my, you know, on the side my back. Okay, next his neck over here. Boom, that's 1. Okay, 2, I'm starting, you know, adjust my body now to the north south. Okay, and put my head down and connect my hands together on the same time. Okay, put my belly down, and then now after that I start squeeze and apply the north south choke.
never want to be even up. Because when you're even up, I can start poking, grabbing, moving around, tripping you. That whole series that John taught us, it's basically depends on where your legs are. Okay, so anytime you're coming in, especially MMA, you want to make sure you have a foot forward, because then you're putting pressure on my leg. It's a lot harder for me to kick you in the face.
Yeah.
All right, or it's harder for me to get both your ankles. So a lot of times what they'll do is what's called De La Riva guard. So I'm going to wrap this leg around the inside of your thigh here, and I'm going to grab a wrist. Especially no gi, it's very important that I grab a wrist, because I need to keep control. And it's not going to be nearly as strong as when I have a gi, then I can really get a lot of leverage. But right now, I'm just trying to control you long enough for me to move. So it's very common to just grab the far wrist, and then I can kick my foot, so I take you off balance at the same time. I get my foot free, and I stretch you out, and I can dump you over. And then I've got my pass right away, coming around the side control. So that's a very, very simple De La Riva option. Passing from the front. So I'm stretching you out, and see how you're automatically grabbing that ankle?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't let you have that. I can't let you get control of that ankle. So I've got to be trying to get that foot free. And I can go to almost like a spider hook here for a second. Again, I just can't stay here because you're going to be attacking. And I don't have all that good of control.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm stretching that out. So the other option is you pull that hand away, all right? As I stretch you out, I'm going to switch wrists. And I'm going to tuck my foot behind your leg. Boom. Now I'm going to move my butt as I extend my other leg to scoot around you. Okay? Come back up. All right. And again, I don't need you there, but what I want to be is more extended here. So I can extend my foot and fall to that hip first. All right? Tuck behind your leg. Scoot my butt around so I'm behind you. Grab the hips. Pull me on top. So that's going to be a back take that I've actually hit when people have MMA gloves on, because I can get a real good collar grip. Yeah. And it's sticking that leg through to fall to the side as I walk my hips around. So same idea, boom. All right, now you see how you're more off to the side here? I actually want to be sitting on your foot if I can, so I'm farther off to the side. And then I can extend this foot through to block your hip. Now again, I need to make sure I have this, because it's easy for you to backstep and knee bar me otherwise. So I got to be ready to tuck that foot. Does that make sense? Yeah. So as you're going to try to backstep to that, that's when I'm going to take the back. So I got the wrist control, I kick through, yep, boom, and I pull you back right in to your back to it. Does that make sense, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was pointed out to me yesterday that I was saying, okay, and does that make sense? Way too much. I'm just trying to show a simple armbar.
That makes sense.
Right?
Okay.
All right. So again, I'm trying to stretch you out. That's the whole point here of the De La Riva, especially gi, no gi, doesn't matter. I want to stretch you out to start attacking stuff. And then I can start pulling over, wrapping things up, hooking arms, hooking legs, trying to get you off balance. And using those butterfly hooks to take your back. Make sense? Cool. Thanks, guys. We'll be rolling. You can stop it now. De La Riva. So, yep, when you're in your De La Riva, good to go?
Yep.
Cool. No, you're on the same leg. Yep, so you're hooking and almost pulling here. So you're wrapped around that leg, and yep, and you're stretching out the other side. And we were just talking about De La Riva and how you can kind of take the back. If they start stepping through for a knee bar, yep, so you're going to tuck that in behind. But I was also saying how you always want to make sure you have wrist control, whether you're in gi or no gi. Because if I don't, I'm going to pull and wrap and foot lock right there. So if you ever hear about a rolling foot lock, this is the easiest place to hit it from. Boom. Cobrinha hit a nasty foot lock when somebody went De La Riva on him. He just dropped back and just, I swear to God, it looked like he tore it. Yeah, he kneeled right into it, so he couldn't twist out of it. But for the rolling foot lock, I'm going to pick it, and I'm wrapping over the top. I'm basically doing a shoulder roll over that hip. And now I've got the legs trapped as I break the foot with my Kimura lock. I'm right out on the pinky toe, all right, sucking my elbows in, and I'm trying to touch his big toe to the outside of the same hip. I'm not just trying to crank and turn here. I'm also curling it into his butthole, all right? So that way, poetic word, to put some extra pressure on the knee joint as well as the foot joint. Thanks, guys. We'll be rolling.
So, a position that we're all pretty familiar with, you know, lately in the jiu-jitsu game, people trying to go for berimbolo with the outside de la Riva here. Okay, so my partner is coming in here, he just puts his knee out. They can do it no gi, they can do it gi, it's more common in the gi. Alright, so one of the first things, so what makes it difficult to teach a technique here too, is everybody that's ever taught me everything I know is here right now, for the most part, aside from my professor Tom Glass. So like, it's hard not to teach a technique somebody already taught me. I feel like I'm cheating people. But this is something Ricardo showed me. So as they start to knock you down from berimbolo, he's just going to push on me. Right? And I fall to my hip here. I think I'm going to be stuck. I think he's going to take my back. I'm just going to keep his legs separated here by controlling this ankle. So now Gordon can't really get underneath me, and when he does, I can step right out. So just start tucking your shoulders. So he's going to start to go for a roll here. What he would normally do is get underneath my hips and take my back. But since I have this ankle, go ahead, keep rotating, I can step right out. All right, but now we're just in a neutral position. That's nothing. I'm going to go bring this leg to the other side. If he doesn't do anything, I pass his guard, right? He's going to take his other leg, bring it over to try and high leg escape. I got both heels now. I can do whichever I want. It's like a magic trick. Right? I can go whichever side I want, and I have some pretty brutal heel hooks from this position. And the great thing is he can start trying to attack my feet. There's really not a whole lot he can do. Okay? I know there's a lot of steps to this. Okay? The next one I show, I promise, is going to be easy. Okay? So he's going to go de la Riva right here, so that's just the leg outside my leg, holding on to my ankle, nothing too crazy. He's just going to knock me down with the other foot. So I fall to this position, I stay based. Control his ankle right away, and I try and keep these legs separated. He tries to come underneath me, rolling on his back. Take a big step. Leg to the other side, I start passing, he high legs. Lock, and you guys don't actually have to finish the heel hooks, but just know that they're there. Okay?